Hello friends, I'm Captain Gyanendra Singh, a Master Mariner from Merchant Navy. I'm running a safety consultancy business where I give services to marine industry and also to shore establishments. I was always very keen to do something for the training and grooming of youngsters because they are the ones who would tomorrow shape the world. So in line with that, I had this idea of taking all the experience and knowledge from the super successful people, from our industry and from the society, and share it with the youngsters so that they can learn from that and use it for the betterment of the world. So today we have here with me Captain S.M. Divekar, a very respected personality in our industry. And for me too, personally, I have a huge lot of gratitude for him and ma'am. And it's my honor to have you on this virtual coffee meet today, sir. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, Janindra. It's always a pleasure to be with you. You've always been good to me wherever we met. So tell me, what can I do now for you?
So, sir, for the benefit of all the listeners who would be listening to this, so tell us something about yourself.
Well, where to start? I'm a young, but I have my roots in my hometown named Miraj in South Maharashtra, West Maharashtra. And I was there up to my SSC. And after that, I came to Pune for higher education. And what else would you like to know just now?
How did you come into the Merchant Navy, sir? How did things shape up?
Oh, okay. How did I come to the Merchant Navy? Well, when I was a boy, young child, or young boy, you can say, I had the good luck of accompanying my father to attend a meeting or to meet Shri Swatantraveer Savarkar, who was passing through Miraj. He was going by train from Kolhapur or Belgaum to Pune, and on the way, Miraj is a junction station. The train stops there for some time. And my father, being a leader of the Hindu Mahasabha, he naturally went to receive him there, to meet him there. And I, as a young boy of 7-8-year-old, had accompanied him. And when we met Swatantraveer Savarkar, my father told me to offer respects to him by touching his feet. So I touched his feet and said namaskar to him. And he said immediately, "What would you like to become?" So the question was answered by my father that, oh, he's very good in mathematics. So Savarkar said, well, and he is addressing to me, you know, we are being ruled by the British. But the British have to go. Sooner or later, they will have to go. And after they go, we need boys like you to man our Navy, to man our Air Force, or to man our Army. So study well and do whatever you want to do, but join Army, Navy, or the Air Force, that is the armed forces. So that message was in my head throughout my school days. And after I came to Pune, after passing my SSC examination, I stood first in Miraj. Then naturally I was looking how to remember the promise I had given to Swatantraveer Savarkar. So in Pune, there were a number of institutes, classes being conducted as to how to appear for these competitive examinations, how to be interviewed, and so on. And there was a Maharashtra Mandal who was conducting these classes. So I joined them. And there we were taught what is required to pass the competitive examinations.
Sir.
Then that time, National Defense Academy had just started a few years back near Pune. And that time the slogan amongst the Marathi papers used to be that the NDA is in Maharashtra, but Maharashtra is not in NDA. Hardly any boys were getting selected in the NDA. So these institutes were told to see what you can, to see that our boys also get selected and join that wonderful academy. So after I joined, I was appearing for various competitive examinations. And also at that time, suddenly the Dufferin examination was announced, Dufferin qualifying examination. I appeared for that also. And the first result who came out was Dufferin. I got selected. And naturally, I would not wait for the other results. I joined the Training Ship Dufferin. That was in 1952, January.
1952.
Yeah. And before that, I was in Ferguson College. I had enrolled myself as a science student because otherwise I would have become, my idea was to try and become a doctor.
Right, right. So another industry which serves the society. So this was how you reached Dufferin, and being from the Merchant Navy, I can understand once a boy enters Dufferin, obviously the training is so good that you become a gentleman, then and you go on the ship and you sail. So from 52 onwards, what are those special moments that you would recollect, sir, which shaped your life?
Well, what I found when I came on the Dufferin, a boy from a background of Miraj, middle class. The games I used to play as a child used to be gulli danda, kho-kho, no cricket, no hockey, no table tennis. So when I came on the Dufferin, I found that only those who knew those games, they would do well. And those who had no idea, they just remained. So that remained a bit of my handicap, that I could not participate in all the games. But I found that I was good in shooting, because in my childhood, my father had got one air gun and he used to give us practice about shooting. So when we joined the defense course, while we were on the training ship Dufferin, there was a shooting contest that each top was told to score, and we found that my top, the port for top, did the best in shooting, and in that top, the best person who scored the maximum was myself. So I felt proud that I could receive the shield for the top, being the highest scorer individual.
That's so nice. That's so nice. So, after passing out, I understand you joined the India Steamship.
After passing out, the India Steamship Company. India Steamship Company's marine superintendent, he came on Training Ship Dufferin and conducted our campus interview, and I got selected by them. And the attraction for India Steamship was, as compared to other companies, India Steamship Company, as compared to say India's, the boys who joined India's, they immediately went to coal ships. And they were very slow ships, whereas India Steamship, fast ships, and they were on the UK continent run. So I was very happy that I was selected by India Steamship, and my first voyage was from Calcutta to London via Vizag, Chennai, then Eden, Port Said, like that.
Wow. I also joined my first ship at Liverpool,
Oh,
but then I flew all the way to London and then drove across UK to the west coast and joined the ship in Liverpool.
yeah. Which company?
Searland Shipping, sir.
Oh, of course, must be big ships because,
Yes, that was one of their largest ships, an Aframax tanker crude carrier.
yeah, my ship was of 10,000 tons deadweight, but it was doing 15 knots, 1.5. And they used to say that India Steamship, the fastest steamship company on the UK continent run.
So after that, like any special moments that you recollect in life as life went on, which shaped the life as you stepped ashore and then you went on to become the one of the senior most officers in the insurance industry. So what would you like to share as how the life got shaped? Like how did you take the decision to quit sailing and how did you step into insurance?
Well, how did I come to insurance? After my masters, in those days, many of us would like to sail as a master for a few years, but in the long run, they would like to settle in a job ashore. So what were the opportunities ashore? Mainly, they were the surveyors in the MMD, then the pilots, and well, these are the only two. Which other third one? Yeah, pilots and the surveyors. So they all were interested in joining BPT or Calcutta Port Commissioners. But suddenly I found after my masters that an advertisement had appeared in the papers that an insurance company wanted a master mariner. I paid no attention to it because to me, insurance company means life insurance, and the job in the insurance company would be insurance agent. So I dismissed the whole idea. But somebody told me, "Arey, don't think that insurance means only this, and this is New India Assurance Company's advertisement." So we find out what they want, master mariner. So that made me make further inquiries, and I was thrilled that New India Assurance Company was insuring ships, and they wanted a master mariner to join their marine hull department. So I thought, oh, that's a challenging job, and first time for a master mariner to get an opportunity to work in insurance company. So why not you try for it? So I tried for that. I got selected, but there are a number of candidates. But what the general manager called me and told me that, Divekar, you are selected for the job, but there is only one thing that is lacking, that you don't have command experience. So I said, sir, it is like this, India Steamship Company and other shipping companies. In India Steamship Company, you joined as a fourth officer after second mate's ticket. In other companies, you joined as third officer. Then your first promotion was from fourth officer to third officer to second officer to chief officer, and then captain. Whereas in other companies, they came third officer, second officer, chief officer, captain. So we used to say that a fourth officer in India Steamship is equal to third officer in other companies, and so on. And a chief officer in India Steamship is equal to captain in other companies. So the insurance executive, he gave me a good smile and he said, well, you may say like that, but we want a person who had sailed as a master because we want to impress our clients that we have a sailing master on our payroll. So if you are interested, you come back within 1 year and let us see, we'll still keep it open for you.
Okay.
So I looked around. Fortunately, there was a ship. I think it was Chennai or somewhere, waiting because there was no master. It was the Ratnakar Shipping Company ship, Ratna Chandralekha. And I joined that ship as master and I sailed for about 6 months on the coastal run, carrying coal. And after that, when I came to Bombay, I met them. They said, oh, you can come anytime and join. So that is how in 1964, I joined the New India Assurance Company, Marine Hull Department in Bombay.
Wow, 64. And I think you have some special story about 1964 and National Maritime Day.
Well, about that, I would like to say, how shall I start? Yes, the India's also very Swadeshi. Since India's promoted Swadeshi, and the New India also. New India and India's have got similar backgrounds, and they started around the same time. I think India started in 1919 something, and New India also started around 1919.
Okay.
So they were, and you can imagine the top people meeting in Bombay circles and knowing each other. So what was I saying?
Yeah, how did the National Maritime Day started being celebrated in 1964?
Yeah. Well, the National Maritime Day is to commemorate the sailing of the first Indian ship
from Bombay to London.
SS Loyalty.
That's
and
right.
that happened on 4th April, 5th April, 1919.
1919. Yes, sir.
1919. Yeah. And we have been celebrating that on that day, but we started celebrating it actually as National Maritime Day only from 1964.
Okay.
So what happened? That suddenly Government of India decided that we should start celebrating National Maritime Day. And what happened in 64? That why did we do it? So the background has been that after India got independent in 1947, the people in power, they did some introspection, I'm sure, and they said, what was it that Britain had, which we don't have, that Britain could continue to rule India over so many years? And naturally the answer was that the Britain was the sea power for a long time. And so if we want to maintain our freedom, we must have a strong merchant navy. So if you want to have a strong merchant navy, then we must promote, we must develop, we must encourage people to come in and start shipping companies. And they fixed a target that we must have 1 million GRT. Why 1 million GRT? Because in those days, there was a kind of an understanding that if you want to be called as a maritime nation, then you must have 1 million GRT. So they said, okay, we must have 1 million GRT. So it is easy to pass a resolution. India must develop merchant navy, and our objective is to become a maritime country. We must have 1 million GRT. But how to achieve that? So they said, well, we'll provide a special fund. So they started a shipping development fund. And from that fund, they used to encourage people by giving money. Oh, you think you know how to run a shipping company, but you don't have money. So we'll provide money and you can buy a ship and you return the money in installments. And that is how the Indian shipping started growing. The Jayanti shipping had its roots in that. And they were monitoring every month or every year, what is our GRT now? What is our GRT now? And then they realized suddenly in 1964, we have reached our target, 1 million GRT. We do not have many things to celebrate, but here is something we fixed a target for ourselves and we achieved it. And so why not celebrate it? So they said we should start celebrating National Maritime Day from 1964.
Wow.
But on what date? Yeah. On what date? Let it remain the same as 5th April, because that is the glory of the first Indian ship sailing. So our celebration of National Maritime Day commemorates two important events. One is that the first Indian ship sailed from London, and the other is we achieved
1 million.
of maritime country, 1 million GRT.
Wow, that makes real sense.
And you don't find this in writing. How I came to know this? Because Company of Master Mariners had invited Sir C.P. Srivastava to address us. I remember the meeting was in the yacht club. And during that meeting, he mentioned this, that we started celebrating because we became a maritime country in that year.
Okay. So this is new to me also, and it's so nice to hear it from you. And it will be so nice to carry it forward to the youngsters, this story. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
So, like after that, you stepped ashore and then you had a career in the insurance industry. So any special moments that you would like to share, good and bad, from which we can learn as to how we should shape ourselves and our lives?
Yeah. What shall I say?
Being a unique personality in the insurance industry, you had a tough time or you had a comfortable time in the beginning, and because of your performance wise, I suppose always you must have been easily stepping up the ladder, going up the ladder.
Well, I would like to say one thing. When I joined sea career and started sailing, my father used to give me advice from time to time. And one was, he said, you are young, you have the money, you have the power, so you have to be very careful. And he used to quote, Yavanam dhana sampatti, prabhutvam avivekita, ekekam api anarthayo, kima yatra chatushtayam. In short, what it means is youth, money, immaturity. These are the three things. Each one can ruin you. Then what will happen if a person has all these three things combined in one? Kima yatra anartha. So he used to tell me, be careful. And another shloka is to recite to me was, Bhangar Kanta Dhoyakatiraya. That is booze and woman are the two scissors. Kela Vidine Janakatiraya. God has made them in this world. Jo Sapadena Dhoyakatiraya. The one who doesn't get caught in these, to yogya hoto Janakatiraya. So whatever you do, keep clear from these two things my father's background. We're a small family, middle class. And when my father was in school, he participated in anti-government, anti-British policies, and he had to leave the school.
Mhm.
So he joined. He was selected by a Swami to study Vedas. So he became a disciple of one Narayan Shastri Marathi to
Mhm.
learn Vedas, Upanishads, and Sankhya Yoga. And these people felt there was a need to establish a school. Many people who were not allowed to join the school because of their anti-government activities, they needed to be trained somewhere.
Mm.
So they started a school, Rashtriya Shikshan, and that was Prajna Path Shala. It has
Mhm.
in Y between Pune and Miraj, near Karad. So that school, my father was not only teaching there, but he was a good speaker and he's a hard worker. So he promoted Prajna Path Shala by traveling all over and collecting donations. And he wrote a lot of books. And he is famous for his fight against the Bhundu Swamis, Boabaji, Andhashraddha,
Mhm.
and Boabaji. And he was, of course, a strong Savarkarite. So Jagat Guru Shankaracharya, he offered him this designation, Hindutva Deepak. So my father was called Hindutva Deepak Madav Shastri Divekar.
Oh, wow, so nice. How great.
What was it that I last mentioned to you?
You said after Mahatma Gandhi's assassination,
Hmm.
there was some looting.
Yeah. They came to kill my father because he was a Hindu Mahasabha man.
Okay.
And then in the evening, they all big morcha coming and looting all Brahmins' houses and
Okay.
burning them. There are many people just for whatever they were wearing, with that they had to leave home because their houses were burnt.
Mhm.
So that was one big shock. And earlier, whatever land we had, not much for this agricultural land, the law came that the land belongs to the tiller. So our land was gone to the tiller. Our
Mhm.
houses were looted.
Mm.
So my father told us that only thing that cannot be stolen is knowledge. So you have nothing else but to learn. So whatever you do, but study and shine. Otherwise you have no future.
Absolutely true, sir. Absolutely true. And that's very, very interesting to be retained.
Yeah.
And Hindutva Deepak is such a beautiful title, I think. People
Yeah.
feel proud in having the title of Sir given by the Britishers. And I feel this is a title which is even more shining and respectable to be called Hindutva Deepak.
Yeah. So much so that wherever I went in Maharashtra or outside Maharashtra, and when they came to know, talking to Maharashtrian people, my name was Divekar, used to always ask, Divekar, any relation of Madhav Shastri Divekar? Like that. Even in London, when I went for my ship, somebody saying, oh, you are Divekar, Madhav Shastri Divekar? Yeah. Is he related to you? Yeah. So that was a great thing.
Yes, yes.
We're very proud. When I joined New India, this is my, since you want to know what the future generation should know,
Yes,
what the
sir.
future generation should know. Yeah. When I joined New India, everybody told me, you are a master mariner, you are a ship captain. All right. But you don't know insurance. We will train you. So my boss in the Marine Hull department, he was a Parsi gentleman. he was trained in London. He worked in a British insurance company there, and he was running. And he said, welcome, that we will do like this. So he had said, unless I know what each person is doing in the department, you will not be able to take charge of the department. So I was rotated through all the workings of all people in the department. I used to sit for a month on each table and master what work is being done. So the first job that was given was to work with an assistant who was insuring fishing vessels. So how the fishing vessels are insured, what is the proposal form, how does it look like, what do you examine, then how do you prepare to charge the premium, how do you issue the policy, etc., etc. So this is called underwriting. So underwriting of ships, starting with underwriting of fishing vessels. Then the next step in insurance is international in the sense we insure, but we cannot pay 100% claims on each and every ship because that will be beyond our capacity. So the principle is you insure 100 ships, but you maintain a small share on each ship and the balance you reinsure abroad so that when the ship sinks, you don't have to pay the 100% value, but you only pay a small percentage which you are keeping to your net account. So there are rules how we reinsure ships. So first was to learn underwriting, then was to learn reinsurance, then was to learn settlement of claims. So like that, step by step, when I did that, then there was a challenge in the sense, I used to hear some people saying, "Arey, is master mariner all right, but he doesn't know insurance." So they were a bit reluctant to accept me that I know insurance. So I was asking people, what these people, some of them were very good. I said, how does he know so much about insurance and how these people don't know? So they told me that those who have passed the insurance examination conducted by the Insurance Institute of India, they are shining. So if you want to make a good impression upon them, you must appear for these examinations. So I told my boss that, well, I'm learning. He said, yes, you're learning all right. But I said, to be able to command respect from the people, I think I should pass this exam. So he discouraged me. He says, you are learning from me. Who is there? Who's going to teach you? But I said, I would like to appear for the exam. So I decided and appeared for exam, and in 2 parts, and I stood first in both the parts of the examination. That is the Insurance Institute of India in both the parts. So that I found that gave me a good boost, because I was telling my boss, sir, as long as you are there and I am there, your recommendation has value. But tomorrow, if you're not here or you get a better job and you leave the company, then what will happen?
Yes.
So this particular examination put me in proper line of seniority in the insurance companies. And I got promotions in the insurance company quite fast. Then the other challenge that came in the insurance company was, there is a policy that you should not allow a person to continue being in one spot for years, because otherwise he gathers some moss and something personal happens, corruption, etc. So they have a policy of rotating people. So, but they found it very difficult to rotate me, because there was no one next, who would know as much, no sea background, They only learn from the documents. So that was the difficulty. And but the company decided, let us see whatever happens. But we would like you, for your own good, will expose you to insure non-marine business. So to do that, they transferred me to a department which was called Tide Insurance Department. Tide Insurance, TIED, Tide. That means very close contacts of New India. New India was a Tata company, so there was a separate department to give the best service to the Tata clients. So I was put in charge of the department, which was ensuring Telco, Kisco, Tata Power, Tata Chemicals, and whatnot, and big public sector companies, IPCL, etc., etc. It was wonderful. I had to learn, I had to study, and this examination I had passed, that came in handy. So I kept on coming up, and then I was promoted as, what was that promotion? Assistant General Manager. And then I was promoted as General Manager in Oriental Insurance Company. I was also on the board of directors. And my last assignment in the insurance industry was as Managing Director of the Loss Prevention Association of India. This was the body promoted by the general insurance companies. The thinking was that we're insuring properties. When damage occurs, we pay claims. But why damage occurs? Why accidents occurs? Why accidents occur? How could they be prevented?
Yes.
So they said we should have a company run by all four companies together and develop knowledge, spread knowledge, how to prevent accidents. That is how the Loss Prevention Association came. They did a wonderful job, and I was in charge of that towards the last 2 years from 1993 to 1995. And here my canvas was entire India, because otherwise you worked only for a company. Of course, each company had its own all India business, but here I was in charge of all offices of LPA throughout India. And I did a good job. I increased their membership. Many master mariners joined LPA because when they got my letter, you pay 500 rupees and become a life member, and you continue getting literature about safety. So they all became life members.
Great, great. Which also means that you also were holding something into safety and training almost towards the end before you quitted finally. That safety and training was the priority in your role also.
True, true. Safety, of course, and training also. But before that, as a in charge of the marine hull, I had to train our people in marine insurance. So that I was doing from time to time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's so nice to hear and understand, and it will be enlightening for all the youngsters, I think, to take a clue from your journey. How do you observe the youngsters of today, and what would be your guiding words to them? Where do you think we need to improve? Not that they are any words. Actually, they are smarter than what we were, or I think earlier people were, because they can handle so many things much better. But somewhere there is a need. What exactly do you feel?
What I found when I was giving lectures on marine insurance in various training institutes, the candidates for mates and masters, sometimes second mates, I found that there was a difference. There was a problem in the sense that many candidates were coming with influence or whatever, and they joined only to buy imported things and things like that. They had no intention to complete the training. And they created problems on the ship. Another was there were cases where people jumping overboard, committing suicide, this kind of things were happening. So that time, I used to discuss in the class why it is happening and how it should be stopped. So I was mentioning to them one particular, because they said, useless fellows, they're recruiting, naturally what they will do, they will commit suicide if they don't want to work. So I used to tell them one Sanskrit sloka, and that was Amantram Aksharam Nasti. There is not a single alphabet, not a single letter in any language which cannot be used to make a good mantra, make a good word. You cannot say the letter F in English is very bad and should be thrown out. But you can use letter F and make good words like fair, fine, fair, etc. etc. The next line is Amantram Aksharam Nasti. Nasti Moolam Anaushadhim. There is not a single vanaspati in the world from which you cannot make a good medicine. And the next line is very important. Ayogya Purushaha Nasti. There is not a single person who is entirely useless. And yet, why do you have these problems? The problem is Yojakas Tatra Durlabha. There is absence of proper leadership. And therefore, these things are happening. So you're pointing out your finger at that boy that he is useless, but you're pointing three fingers at yourself that you're not a good leader.
Absolutely.
And that used to go a long way. And then they used to discuss how they tackled such a person, how they made him come back, etc., etc. I really enjoyed my lectures as a visiting faculty in various training institutes because I learned a lot from them and I could also contribute as to what they wanted about insurance, etc., etc. So I owe, I'm grateful to all the training institutes who used to call me to give lectures.
And you have said that you used to enjoy that much more than the other optional activities you have. So what would you advise as with your successful life and career? What virtues should one have? You already mentioned quite a few, that to stay away from certain ills of life which can misguide. Anything else that you would like to add to that? To have a more holistic and successful.
Yeah, true. Especially for a master mariner who wants to come ashore, he must learn that when he comes ashore, he has to forget that he has been a master mariner and he knows everything. So he must start learning in the new, whichever job he is going to take, so many things to learn. So he must concentrate on learning, and only then he can become successful in that line. He should not assume he knows everything. Now, one thing I want to mention about Lloyd's, because insurance, marine hull insurance and Lloyd's, one cannot be without the other.
Yes, sir.
So when I studied, when I went to London and examined, spent some time with the Lloyd's and all that, and I came back to giving lectures in India, I used to start my lecture in marine hull insurance with a quotation, with a shloka, and that is Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaraha keshavam prati gacchati. The meaning is very simple, but the moment you quote a Sanskrit shloka, the people switch off because they know that this fellow is going to tell the translation anyway. So why listen? So Akashat patitan toyam. Toyam means water. Like the water that falls from the skies. Yatha gachati sagaram. How it gravitates to sea. Sarvadeva namaskara. Similarly, we have got 33 crores of gods, and prayers are being offered by various devotees for their respective gods. Sarvadeva namaskara. Finally, they all go to one and simple, to one and only God, that is Lord Keshava. Now, how does it apply to Lloyd's? So, it is like this, that the surplus of all insurances throughout the world gravitates to London. The Lloyds take pride in saying, we don't go anywhere, we are here, we are conducting the business, and the surplus of insurances from throughout the world, they retain what they can, but all surplus, they come to London. Because we have been conducting so well, and we have got the capacity and our experience, etc., etc. So that is the one people used to like my lecture on Lloyd's with this introduction and other things.
True, true. So it was an absolute pleasure listening to you, sir, and gaining so much knowledge myself. And I'm sure my aim of taking this to the world would be successful with more and more stalwarts like you, whom I will talk to. It will not only make me more wise with time, it would help the future generations to hear and understand and take the essence out of this as to how they should live their life. Absolutely, absolutely. It's a pleasure, sir.
Well, if I can be of any help, I'm always, they're always welcome. And
yes,
I'll appreciate
yes.
it. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and let us keep in touch.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's my pleasure to kind of interview you, and I'll always be in touch. Thank you so much, sir.
All the best.